And welcome back, everybody, to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 6 different Western New York locations. If you're looking to have a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer and let them know 2 goalies, 1 Mike sent you. I couldn't suggest any more highly the F Mango Wheat Beer, my absolute favorite when I do stop into Fatty Beer. So, and as always, Buffalo Logo Apparel. You can find them at Buffalo Logo Co. on Instagram and Twitter. Whether it's your shirts, your hats, your hoodies, I'm actually wearing their blue collar gear right here. One of the most comfortable hoodies I've ever owned. And of course, the RJ snapback hat, both available at buffalogo.com. Sabres get absolutely, I wouldn't say dominated. Would you say dominated, Hurls? Say dominated.
I didn't watch the first, but the second was definitely in favor of the Leafs, and they had chances in the third. But no, I wouldn't say dominated.
I wouldn't say dominated, no. They got goalied for sure. Anthony Stolarz, his 3rd consecutive shutout against the Buffalo Sabres on his 3rd different team. So he's got 3 straight shutouts against Buffalo from 3 different teams. I believe he's now 8-0 in his last 8 starts. Just in general, not against Buffalo.
In honor of Anthony Stolar's shutout streak against the Sabres, I decided to put him behind me, actually, as the best way to honor him and the brick wall that he is.
Yeah.
KeyBank Centers. The 2 best games I've ever played in my life actually were at KeyBank Center. So I feel some sort of kinship.
Super Sunday?
Yeah, two Super Sundays, 2009 and 2010. I was 1-1 MVP in both games, not to brag, but I do feel some type of kinship with Anthony Stolarz. The sight lines in that building are just really good.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been able to play there once and coach twice at Super Sunday. Lost, I think it was 4-1 to Cheektowaga. I thought I played a pretty good game, but Cheektowaga was just a powerhouse. I mean, they probably had 3 or 4 kids on that team that should have been playing junior A hockey, not high school hockey, led by guys like Matt Bessing and like Eric Osmanski. But both went on to play, have some pretty good junior hockey.
I remember them well.
You do?
Oh, yeah. We played against Cheektowaga early in my high school career. And then they moved to large school, and we were a small school.
Yeah.
Actually linked up with Cardinal O'Hara. And then junior year, we beat Dunkirk Fredonia. And then senior year, we lost to Jamestown. Not to get too far in the weeds, but in the championship game, Super Sunday senior year, we got outshot 47-7 and lost 3-2. So that was a
pretty good game from
a good night for me. Yeah, good night for me.
I mean, we can talk about our hockey careers. Mine was mediocre at best, but I mean, it's probably better than talking about the Sabres right now. Listen. I thought UPL played well. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's 4-0 doesn't really tell the whole story when it comes to his game. Mitch Marner. Yeah, I actually went to dinner before the game, and I saw there was a graphic on it. It must have been on NHL Network. Like Mitch Marner coming into tonight, his last 8 games, 17 points, just against Buffalo.
Pretty good.
Last game against and I know in the subtitle here for the so Buffalo needs Marner, and I continue that. First time getting 100 points in his career. Did it tonight against Buffalo. Can confirm Hurls. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Guy was there, chest painted. Can confirm Hurls kept them in it his last year.
Hi B, that's my boy. City Honors baseball. City Honors baseball alum. We had a good crowd in the building that game. That was I was puking on the bench during a TV timeout in the 3rd period. That's how tired I was. Unfortunately,
I can't believe it, man.
We were up 2-0. Unfortunately, I didn't have the cardio to pull out the win. But
I don't think anybody has the cardio to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I almost did, to be honest. I would say my junior year game was even better. But yeah, it's something I lose sleep about still. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. What year did you graduate?
2010.
Okay, so you would have been, I was at 06, so you would have, you were a freshman when I was a senior. So, so you might remember a little bit of the Bessing on Oz.
Those guys. Even we went to games. We went to games when we were in middle school. We had a City Honors middle school team, and we we practiced and supported the high school team. And I remember our high school teams, they were pretty good back then when we were a large school. It was a completely city honors team. And I remember those names like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So best scene in like maybe, I don't know how many games, because I know Fonz had them doing like an out-of-town tournaments and stuff like that. But like best scene had like, yeah. Listen, I think Bessine just by himself had like 120 points or some stupid number. Like he had no business playing high school hockey, none whatsoever.
There's a long-standing rivalry between Fonz and my father in the high school hockey coaching community.
Really?
I don't know if I should say this, but I will. My dad absolutely hates that guy's guts.
Listen, I'll say this about Fonz. I don't have any hatred towards him. I did when I was a player. Absolutely. After as a coach, he had my back at a time when he didn't have to during some issues with the Pew when it came to coaching. I won't get further into it, but he saw through the weeds and that I wasn't part of the issue. You might even remember some of those days.
Did he eventually go to Orchard Park, or is he?
Yeah, he is with Orchard Park now. He's with Orchard Park now.
He's a snake.
Yeah. But he did have my back, but other than that, like as a player, I fucking hated him too, no doubt about it.
I'm not even talking about coaching. I'm talking just like in the Western New York high school hockey community. He's a snake, but no big deal.
No, you're good. I don't care. But no, yeah, he had there was Bassine, Osmansky, some Koyak, and the one thing that pissed a lot of people off too was I forget the kid's name. He was their other goalie, but he didn't go to Cheektowaga. He was a goalie pool goalie, but he was better than their goalie.
Oh, I wonder how he figured that out.
Yeah, I know he was better than, and I still.
How did they get that guy on their team? That sounds like something particular, maybe fishy. I don't know.
But that goes to it, like the snake.
We should start a Western New York high school hockey memory lane podcast. That would be.
We could.
I mean,
I know a lot of people who would want to do that.
At this point, we'd get more viewers than a Sabres podcast. So maybe that's a good idea.
Dude, it was Coach Hurls is an awesome guy. Some of my buddies played for Cheektowaga and still hated him. Yeah, he wasn't a well-liked coach. I will say that.
I've heard that he's not a well-liked coach, and he's even a worse-liked person.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with you. That would be fun. Even just do one podcast. Just get. Yeah. I think the list of people who would want to comment on that show would be endless.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Hey,
I just remember like parents, not even just from Depew, just from all around the league, just being infuriated that why do they get this kid?
Yeah,
first off, like
can't explain it. It was probably completely within the rules.
And yeah, totally.
And it was probably ethically done. That's what Fonz is all about. So shout out to that guy. You're still doing the exact same thing down there in Orchard Park.
Yeah, I remember, dude. I remember the perfect topic for an off-season show. I totally agree.
Yeah, we'll do a Western New York high school hockey memory lane sometime in the middle of August.
Oh my God, I remember Osmansky. Not to continue this, but last point. I remember he left. I want to say it was his sophomore year. After his sophomore year, he left to go play for the then Buffalo Lightning, which was pre-junior Sabres. And I don't think he really. I'm not gonna say he couldn't hack it, but he was a first-year kid, and I think he like rode the bench a lot. But he was definitely good enough to play there, no doubt about it. He didn't like it, and Fonz kind of manipulated him to coming back to play high school hockey for his senior. Like, dude, like I'm not kidding you, man. Like we were the only team. Depew was the only team that could go shot for shot for them. From my sophomore to my senior year, we were really the only team. Us and Southwestern Maple Grove, maybe, but like we were the only two teams that could really go shot for shot for them. I remember like in that 2-year span, my junior year, we were the only team that didn't lose to them. We tied them once during the season, or was it during states? I can't remember. But like they were a powerhouse, but it was shady as shit whenever you played against them. It was shady as shit.
Yeah, I mean, he knew all the refs. He still does. He pays them off. I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but yeah, I have strong feelings on that.
Oh my God! Please, someone tell me. Please tell me someone threw a sweater on the sheet tonight. What an embarrassment from William Whipple. Don't think we've seen William and his AI persona there before.
Uh,
But
so
the show.
yeah, back to the game. Stolarz. I mean, I think the Leafs finally found a goalie. He has
Might
been
have, yeah.
pretty incredible this year, along with Joseph Wall. They've both been really good. So they actually may have the combination necessary to actually win more than one playoff series this year for the first time in 200 years. I think they'll probably start with Stolarz in the first series, if I had to guess. And
I would agree.
if he falters at all, then they'll go to Wall. But it's going to be one of those situations you got to go with the hot hand. You can't go one or the other in a playoff series. It doesn't work. We've seen teams try that before. So we'll see. But I think the Leafs might have found the right combination finally to win more than one playoff series. I can't say that confidently, but they have the offensive talent. The decor is not amazing, but it's pretty good. And they have as good or the best goaltending that they've had in this, at least in the Austin Matthews era and the Mitch Marner era. So that could be a pretty dangerous combination for them. And Florida doesn't look great. Carolina doesn't look great. Washington's faltered as of late. So I think the Leafs actually have a chance to make some noise here, which, if we're talking Sabres, how could it get worse?
You know, I said it the other night, you know, with Lindy at 899 wins, is like, if there was a game I would have wanted him to get, it would have been this one, no doubt, against the Leafs, given his history as coaching. You know, when it comes to, you know, the best days playing the Leafs were with Lindy behind the bench. It would have been cool. I guess maybe a little poetic to see him get win number 900 against the Leafs, but I guess not. Given fan appreciation night is Thursday, you know, giveaway.
I made that mistake. I thought it was tonight, but either way.
No, don't matter. I mean, I'll actually be in attendance Thursday. I'm going to get my crippled ass to the arena. They got me set up with some handicap seating for my leg. So, which I appreciate, but, no, going to get my bobblehead and, you know, we'll see how things progress, but there is a real chance that they could, end up last in the East again, depending. I last time I looked, during the last post game, I want to say Boston had one game left. We had two at the time. If Boston had won that game, I'm not sure if they played that.
They lost. They'll be last in the East.
Okay, so yeah, so the worst we can do is second last in the East at this point. Had they won that game and we lost on fan appreciation, we would be last. We would be tied with them, I believe, and it come down to a loser's tiebreaker to see who would end up at last. But yeah, so the worst we could probably do is second last in the East. So
pretty bizarre that it's the Bruins, but at least they're tanking correctly, right? Like,
yeah,
they're putting themselves in the best position possible to get, like, maybe even a guy like, let's say, Michael Misa ends up on the Bruins, like,
or Schaefer. I mean, Schaefer could easily go first overall too. I'm not sure what the need is.
I don't think they'd win the lottery, but if they get themselves into the top three, that would be a successful season for them.
Yeah, I mean, given what they did at the deadline, and just this is the first year in a while, you know, first year. I mean, last year they were expected to be this team, right? They were expected to be a team that was going to show their age, and they finally did this year. But no, listen, I'm not rooting for losses, but I'm not. But you know what I mean? I'm not going to silently celebrate it if they lose, just because
it's a win-win.
Yeah, you know, like I know, you know, we're gonna have Mike Harrington on tomorrow, and he's very adamant about not caring about where they finish in the standings. But at this point, like, if they lose Thursday, like,
I get it.
I get
it from Mike's perspective as a journalist. Like,
I get it too.
Yeah, back in 2015, I was very much against fans going to games and actively rooting for the Coyotes in the Sabres arena. I thought that was disrespectful. I thought that was stupid. I thought that set a bad precedent. I argued with Jeremy White on Twitter about it because he was very, very pro-tank. And even him, as a graduate of the same journalism school I went to, I thought it was unbecoming of him to to take this stance that he did. Of course, the end goal in mind was Eichel or McDavid, and turns out they accomplished that. But it felt slimy to me, and it still does. I'll never do it. I will never publicly root for the team to lose because
you do it in your living room, and that's fine.
Yeah, and like you can text your friends about it, and like you can privately be happy if they improve their draft lottery position, but publicly cheering it and being as Mike Harrington has described, admittedly a loser, and rooting for losing, I think is a bad precedent to set. So yeah, I mean, I'm not upset if they lose. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy if they won. Great, good for them. Doesn't mean anything. And I won't be upset if they lose either, because we are currently 7th last in the league, tied with Boston. Well, not Boston anymore. Tied with Philadelphia and Seattle for 7th last. So
obviously nobody was going to finish worse than Chicago or San Jose, but like
the best or the worst we can finish is 5th last,
and that would put us right in that good, not sweet spot, but
I mean, you're going to get one of Schaefer, Martone, Hagens. Well, you're not going to get probably Hagens, Misa.
So if you finish outside of the bottom 5, there's no shot at first overall.
No, you're not going to get Schaefer. You're not going to get Misa. You're not going to get Martone. You're probably not going to get Hagens.
Well, you could get Martone if Hagens goes
if he falls, but those are the consensus top 4. And then after that, you'd have your pick of the litter, which I looked at a few guys today, especially this 6'6" right-handed defenseman named Marika.
Yeah, he's such a smooth skater.
Yeah, he looks like a young Tyler Myers, and to add that to the prospect pipeline would be good.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Marika at all. He's a very smooth skater, standing 6'6". I don't know if he plays to it like physically to his size. I didn't see enough of like on that.
I don't know how you do it, but yeah.
Well, you say that, but we currently have a defenseman team who doesn't.
Well,
but we're not here to throw shade at Owen Power.
Look at the Sabres without Owen Power this season. They're 2-11.
No, I am not throwing shade at Owen Power to that point, because they are a worse team without him. I'm just stating that you can't expect. I just don't expect players to play like they're 6'6" when they're, you know what I mean?
Tyler Myers never played like Zdeno Chara, right? Like Tyler Myers was a more like offensively skilled guy. Like he didn't throw his frame around in the way that he probably could have, right? Like he was a little bit more creative offensively, a really good skater, really good at puck retrievals, getting the puck out of his zone, getting into wings. Like that's what I want out of my defenseman. The ability to collect the puck in your own end and start a breakout, or even create a breakout yourself. Like sometimes, I mean, I know I've said it before, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, but like as long as he's at least slightly weird defensively in front of his own net and plays with some physicality at 6'6", he could be pretty good.
Yeah. I'm all on board with Marika. I think he's and he's a right-handed shot defenseman, which is even better.
Did someone just suggest moving Dahlin to center?
Yeah, I saw that. Marty, he's been pretty active in the chat. So, you know, I've been bringing. I meant to click on one of his other comments, and this is the one I meant to click on. But no, first off, we're not going to be able to draft Schaefer because we're not going to have a chance to beat.
I'm gonna even the suggestion of moving Dahlin to center. What's that meme from Billy Madison? That might be the dumbest, most inconsequential answer I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
No, I think you keep Rasmus Dahlin at defense, because
that's all I have to say to that.
He's been essentially a point per game player there all season long, and that was without competent power play.
With all due respect, I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, but we appreciate you, Marty, coming.
Thanks for commenting, but don't do that again.
We don't think we're singling out. We single out Mauricio all the time.
Yeah, there's good suggestions, and then there's suggestions that should be thrown in the trash bin and never brought up ever again.
How the fuck does Toronto have Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander while we have Thompson and Dahlin? Fucking sad. to bringing up Marner though, a game like tonight, dude, if he gets the free agency,
well, I'll say this one thing about the Leafs potentially going on a run. Let's say, God forbid, they win the cup. Wouldn't it make it more likely that he had done what he needed to do there and he could leave?
potentially, I'm not going to root for a Toronto Stanley Cup.
I'm not rooting for it, but
No way.
The silver lining, the silver lining in that would be you're a legend in the city forever. Might as well come to Buffalo and try to be a legend in the greater Toronto Buffalo area.
Yeah. But Marner, a guy like Marner, or someone in the chat, not in the chat, but I commented on our thing earlier. He goes, "We don't need Marner. Go get Besser or Jason Robertson." First off, you're not going to get Jason Robertson. Like Jason Robertson is not leaving Dallas. Like I said, man, the second the season ends and if he's still not signed, I am parking an empty Brinks truck as close to his house as possible and letting him know, like, it's symbolism. This is here for you. We're ready. We will bring you the money to your door, even though you're not really allowed to do that, but we'll do it anyway, just to get you there.
I still think the odds of him re-signing with the Leafs are like probably minus 500. But stranger things have happened.
You're right. Stranger things have happened, but nobody thought Tavares was leaving the Islanders when he left then he left the Islanders. He had plenty of opportunities to sign an extension. He didn't negotiate or stop negotiating or how it all fell apart. And that's not to say that there still isn't a chance that he will sign there, but I don't know, man. I need that guy. I need that guy. If it's not that guy, then I want to go all in on a right-handed shot defenseman like an Ekblad or a Pion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's either go all in on Marner or go all in on a top-flight defenseman, right-handed shot defenseman.
Yeah, I mean, if he's available and they don't offer him 8 years at $15 million per, you're doing a disservice to the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work, then you do whatever you possibly can to get the next best guy, whether that's Besser or Ehlers or Neil Pionk, or I would take Aaron Ekblad. He's not necessarily the best, but he'd be better than what we have.
I mean, there's your solution to Owen Power, right? That has to be the guy. No doubt about it.
I would prefer Pionk because he's
so would I.
His numbers are a little bit better, and but yeah, I mean, Ekblad, former number 1 overall pick,
or offer sheet Matt Nyes,
cup winner. Yeah, I mean, offer sheet everybody.
Yeah, like, literally everybody. I was looking at that today, and like just the different players that might be up for offer sheets. Was it like Will Coyle? Is that how you say his last name from the Rangers? Then there is it Will Coyle? Am I thinking of the right guy?
I don't know for sure.
And then it was with him and Keandre Miller are two guys. Even though he's a left-handed shot defenseman,
he would work.
Huh?
He would work.
He would, especially if I don't know if he can play the right side, but if he can do it,
yeah, that guy. You put him with Power or Darlene, and either one of them go over.
I'd be all over that, man. No doubt about it.
Darlene's already proven that he could play both. You're probably not going to be able to re-sign Byram, and results without Darlene haven't been great. But if you have Keandre Miller, Darlene, and Power in your top 3, and then you sign another guy to fill that out, that's pretty damn good.
Agreed.
So, I mean, if you're Kevin Adams and you want to establish some goodwill with the fan base and prove some people wrong, like throw out offer sheets, right? Like
it's exactly what you should be doing.
Do something that NHL GMs typically don't do. That apparently is an unspoken code of conduct between NHL GMs. Yeah, but if you want to gain some goodwill back with this fan base in this city, throw out a couple offer sheets and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. No. The players that I did see on there that weren't really with the exception of Coyle and looking at the article I was looking at from Bleacher Report now are Keandre Miller and Will Coyle, and that's a team that I can't see them giving up on Keandre Miller. Yeah, I think he's going to be a Ranger for the next 8 years.
Well, they might need to rebuild themselves.
Yeah, Yeah, that's the last thing you do is give up on talented youth when you're in the middle of a rebuild.
I mean, they just signed Shesterkin to $100 million, and you have the goalie. You hope didn't have a great year this year, but I wouldn't necessarily blame it on him. You've got some young guys, but they might need to not necessarily blow it up, but in light of what the Bruins have done, you're not going to win a cup in the next 3 years. So
yeah. From James Thomas, would you be on board for Tavares in free agency?
Yeah.
He does have his ties to Buffalo.
Absolutely. He is a higher ceiling Jason Zucker.
He's not going into UFA this year though, right?
I
thought that was next year.
I could be wrong on that.
Somebody in the chat wants to look that up. I thought that was next year. Because if you're dropping that salary cap off the books, then you shouldn't have much of a problem signing Marner. Regardless, speaking of current events, James, also, can we talk about the KeyBank Center situation? It was reported a couple weeks ago that Erie County was walking away from the lease when it expires on KeyBank Center, and then it was followed up today by Channel 2 that Buffalo wouldn't be able to afford the $200 million in renovations needed, because that's who the responsibility would fall on, would be the city of Buffalo.
Real quick, Tavares is a free agent 2025, 2026.
I would definitely take a run at him then.
Also, like you said, getting $11 million off the books, they're going to give that to Marner.
It's hard to see. I mean, again, I don't know who else is up for an extension that would, be more important than Marner. Maybe the fact that he's not signed yet, it's a Marner thing. You know what I mean? If you're Toronto, why are you not wanting to sign Rich Marner? Or, what's the hold up there?
Maybe they will tonight.
Yeah, right. Listen, and then it was further reported today again that as the responsibility would fall on the city of Buffalo, the expected cost of renovation of the KeyBank Center would be around $200 million. And I believe the city of Buffalo is already on the hook, so with $50 million. I'm not sure. I forgot how it was worded, but I think they're in the whole $50 million right now as it is with the budget. So they wouldn't be able to afford that, which obviously that's causing quite a stir on Sabres Twitter, that, the possibility of the team moving if they can't renew the lease. Does Terry buy the arena? Does Terry foot the bill? Your thoughts on what you've seen so far from that, Hurls, because that is a scary thing. I was chatting with Mike Harrington a little bit earlier today, just when I was confirming with him for tomorrow. We're going to talk more about tomorrow. And he is very adamant that he just doesn't there's any way, shape, or form this team is going to get moved.
Well, worst case scenario, it is a Arizona Coyotes situation. They had issues with their arena and between the county and the state and the city for years. And it eventually ended up with nobody wanting to foot the bill and build a new one or even make renovations to that one. And then the situation got so bad and so tenuous that they had to move the team to Utah because they found an owner in a place that would. So that's the worst case scenario. I would say the most likely scenario is that the county, I guess their lease is up in October, and then it goes to the city. And the city has interest in KeyBank Arena staying in Buffalo, not staying in Buffalo, but having an owner. Obviously, the economic impact to downtown is directly related to the city and its economy and everything related to that. This is really like geopolitics at its finest. The city has leverage in terms of if they're if they have to foot the bill for that, they have incentive to sell it to Terry for really cheap. Because not only is he building the new stadium with a lot of his own money, not all of his own money, disgustingly, in my opinion.
Joke.
But with half taxpayer money, some from the county, some from the state, and then a lot of his money, and he's on the hook for all of the overages, is whatever. I think they'll do him a favor by selling him the building for very cheap. And what's likely going to happen is the organization and the brass will use that is leverage for the fans to be like, hey, we saved your team once again.
Yep.
Come back and support us, even though
Yep.
we'll buy the arena for cheap, make no renovations, and then not spend to the cap. So yeah, I think the NHL also has a say in this. Arizona compared to Buffalo are two completely different hockey markets. Any team can move. You saw the NFL is not the NHL, but you saw a team in St. Louis, a bigger city than Buffalo, get their team moved if an owner has an incentive elsewhere. Let's say somebody very rich in Hamilton or Quebec or Atlanta or Houston has the ability to foot the bill for a new arena, and the situation gets so bad with the Sabres in the city that nothing's going to get done, and let's say Terry doesn't want to buy it, then maybe he sells the team. We're yelling at him to sell the team, but if he sells the team, it's likely not going to be to somebody who keeps it in Buffalo, and that is.
Well, I mean, I think Terry would do everything he could to keep the team in Buffalo.
I do too, but at the end of the day, when's the last time he publicly spoke about the Sabres?
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with his disdain for the team or anything like that. I think that has to do with the fact that every time he opens his mouth, it's
well, yeah. But I do.
Here's the thing: when's the last time he publicly spoke on behalf of the Bills?
I mean,
he doesn't do that either.
I would say, well, he does at the owners' meetings, not publicly.
Yeah, but because he has to. I'm sure he speaks on the Sabres at owners' meetings too.
Yeah, but like he's clearly way more involved in the Bills than he. Well,
yeah, I'm not disputing that. I'm just stating that he doesn't really speak openly to the media for the most part. In terms,
I do think though, from his perspective, him buying the Sabres gave him the goodwill to buy the Bills.
Yeah,
and now that he's the owner of an NFL franchise, which is one of the most valuable things you can be as a billionaire, his investment in the Sabres has already doubled, and he's already gotten that return on his investment and more. Right, like. They haven't made the playoffs since he's been owner. 2011 doesn't count because he became owner in February and they made the playoffs in April. Yeah. So, and with all of the shit that he's getting, the worst owner in sports ranking in the Athletic that just came out, the sell the team chance and signs at games, he's getting into James Nolan territory when the Knicks were really bad for years, throwing people out of the games for bringing palm trees in. It runs this exact course, and the only thing that's going to fix it is winning. But they can't get a winner because they can't sign free agents, and they're not spending to the cap. So, in my opinion, it seems like a purgatory situation unless he allows Adams to offer sheet guys and sign free agents like Mitch Marner to actually put a winning team on the ice. Otherwise, I don't know. There were rumors that he was trying to sell the team to a group from Qatar over the summer, and that fell through. It was guaranteed that they would keep the team in the city, but why wouldn't Qatar move the team to Toronto? They probably have more of an interest there. So, I don't know.
Well, I know the guys were over after the whistle. There was a lot of speculation over the last year or so that they were, at the very least, trying to sell a minority stake in the team. We just saw them do that with the Bills. They did,
and that would make sense.
It would. I mean, is it? You have guys like real estate moguls in the city of Buffalo, guys like Douglas Jamel, who own so much real estate surrounding in the downtown area, especially in that area surrounding the arena. Like, it would make sense for him to put together a team of investors to buy a stake in the Sabres. Like, I've said this months ago, like, I could totally see him being a guy who does it. He has sons that are, he's going to kind of hand the reins to.
Maybe Josh Allen.
Why not? Why not? You have the money. Fork over $100 million with a team of investors, and you can own part of the Sabres.
I mean, maybe he will. Who knows? And then there's obviously Jesse Pegula. Once she's not going to take over, but at the end of the day, I could see her being in an ownership role once her career is over. So we'll see. I don't think it's likely that they move, but
no,
I also don't think it's I don't think it's impossible at all.
Well, when people compare us to the situation with Arizona, the thing with that is Arizona. How long did Bettman try to make that work for?
Yeah,
he did everything he could to make that work. The struggle between making it work with Arizona, and the struggle with making it work with Buffalo, they're night and day different because you have the fan base set in Buffalo. You know there's a fan base.
You're losing it by the season, though.
Yeah, but even so, all it takes is getting into the playoffs in 8th place, and then you're back. You are back. All it's going to take. I agree. I see you say I agree. But another big issue with Arizona was the location of the arena that they did have. They had to literally build a new. That's what the biggest thing was. They wanted to build a new arena, even though they already had an arena, because the location of the previous arena in Phoenix was god awful, and it wasn't a very centralized location like it is with Buffalo. We're in the heart of downtown, so it's you don't have a problem with getting people to come to a hockey game in Buffalo. Look at the Bandits; they sell out games. Yeah. Indoor lacrosse, they have the highest attendance in all of the NL.
I guess what I'm saying is that if this reaches 15 years, it's not going to help.
No.
And I mean, our guy Chris Mazzella has been banging the Ryan Reynolds drum for seemingly months now.
I was banging that drum. I was the first one to be banging that drum last year. Like,
you're a Ryan Reynolds.
I wasn't as steadfast as he was.
You're a Ryan Reynolds, owner of the Sabres, hipster.
Yeah,
you did it before it was cool.
I would love for that to happen because maybe it comes with another one of those TV shows.
Ryan Reynolds has a lot on his plate at the moment.
Welcome to Buffalo. Oh, he does. Yes, he does.
No, I think he's worried about a lot else, including his failed bid to buy the Senators. So I don't envision that happening. But no, I say the Josh Allen thing tongue in cheek, but him along with a lot of his rich friends, like let's say a guy like Daniel Ricciardo. Shout out Daniel Ricciardo, showed up at Busby's this year, nicest guy in the world. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars from F1 himself, recently just retired. Josh Allen has a lot of rich friends, actually, that could potentially put together. You want to be even more of a hero than you already are. You haven't won anything. Yeah, I mean, you won the MVP. But if you buy the Sabres, oh, man.
They will erect
a statue
of Liberty
on every street corner in the city.
Yep.
But no,
there will be a moment of prayer every single day, a mandatory moment of prayer to Josh Allen in the city of Buffalo every single day.
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility.
I don't disagree.
And I could honestly totally marrying who he's marrying. She arguably has more money than he does.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld as the majority owners of the Sabres, along with a minority group of all his rich friends. What could be better than that?
That'd be fantastic. Like I said, you would, at that point, you could easily run for governor and win a landslide. I mean, he probably could now, honestly, without even doing all that.
He would win every election he ran for.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as a registered Republican.
Yeah, whatever though. Whatever. I think that Josh Allen has a lot better of a moral compass than most other politicians. Both
I do think Miss Steinfeld is helping out with that a lot as well.
Yes, I agree. Moving on. Fan appreciation night again Thursday. The Flyers, the hated Philadelphia Flyers. I think the only positive thing that's going to come out of that is me getting a Tuck bobblehead. Do you have one? You have somebody lined up to get you one yet?
No, I think I've lost all hope of any of my friends that still live in Buffalo attending a Sabres game. So
I got you. How's that sound?
All right, that'd be great. I would appreciate that.
Yep.
I have a bunch of bobbleheads on my desk at work. I would really love to add that.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, if you can get your hands on one, that'd be sick. But I mean, with the news of the arena, 14 years, every palm trees, the answers in the building. This might be the worst fan appreciation night of all time.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I think this is going to be the most interesting offseason they've had in a long time.
For sure. I mean, we said that the past 2 seasons, though, to be honest.
Yeah, but this one specifically, I think that is going to be very polarizing because, you had the stuff surrounding Darlene with that sit down with Kevin Adams, how much of that was lies, how much of it was truth, how much of it was in the middle. So I genuinely think that I think that's going to be talked a lot leading to free agency is maybe some pressure coming from your Josh Allen with the Sabres, your franchise player. Hopefully, maybe stepping on the neck of Kevin Adams and Terry Pagula a little bit and like, can we get some? I saw a comment in here too. Not even Mitch Marner. I would love a I pulled it up earlier, but we talked about John Tavares, a combo signing of Tavares and where is it? Tavares was 37. I think someone said he has 37 goals this season, which I didn't even know that. He's having a fantastic year.
He's having a really good year.
Yeah, Brock Besser and Johnny T signing. Like, yeah, I'd be all over that. I mean, you could probably get that done for the price it would cost to sign Marner.
Tavares, point per game player. He's only 34 years old. Like, yeah, that's old, but
he's got a couple. You could sign him to a 3-year deal.
He's a center with the connection to the city he has in Johnny Tavares, the Bandits player. If you lose out on Marner, yeah, I would like to bring Tavares in. That'd be great.
Yeah. Listen, I would be all over that, no doubt about it. One thing I did want to ask before we get out of here, though, given what's going on with the current lease deal, the lease expiring with the arena, and obviously the state of the Sabres, when we talk about it, do we want to hear from Terry Pagula?
Of course we want to hear from Terry Pagula.
I know he puts his foot in his mouth a lot, but you have a lot of things to answer for. In terms of what is the current state of the Sabres, and now even going beyond that with the arena, the lease expiring, and essentially the spotlight is even more on you to possibly save this franchise. And you have a lot of the fans, myself included, who have been on the side of me, maybe not as loud as others, but I have, and you have too, sell the team to somebody who's going to make them a priority, because it's clear your priority is the Bills. I don't want to have him sell the team. I want him to prioritize this team as much as he does the Bills. Now you're thinking, knowing this information, fuck, I don't want you to sell the team. No, don't sell the team.
That earlier, the chants are going to go from sell the team to buy the arena really quickly.
Yeah, buy the arena. Yeah. So, I mean, how badly do we want to hear from Terry Pagula in the next 2 weeks?
I would have loved to hear from Terry Pagula in the past 5 years, but we haven't.
Yeah.
True. So what makes you think it's going to happen this time?
I don't know. Again, it'd be a good question.
Short answer, it's not.
Yeah.
He's not
going to. A good question for Mike tomorrow when we have him on.
He's not. I guarantee you he will not say anything publicly this offseason. He never addresses the team anymore because it doesn't seem like he thinks that's a worthwhile thing to do, to answer questions from the media about the team that he owns that is now tied with the Jets for the longest playoff drought in pro sports. Woody Johnson's an idiot, but credit to Woody Johnson. He talks to the media all the time, probably too much, to be honest. And his son, Brick, is making decisions with Madden ratings. At least they're trying something. Woody Johnson is publicly available of an owner as you could possibly imagine, despite his idiocracy. Terry Pagula hasn't said a word about the Sabres since, what was it, June 2020?
The last time I think we actually heard from one of the last times, at least I remember, was when our boy Mike went hard at them about, at Kim, about her shoddy leadership and why we should feel confident in your ability to continue in your role. That was, I think, the last time I remember, at least, them speaking to the manager, and that was during that Zoom call.
Yeah, well, in person, he hasn't spoken about the team since 2020. He hasn't done a press conference, hasn't released a statement, aside from about RJ and Ryan Miller and Rob Ray and everything else. He's not going to, so I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'd love to hear from him. Not even who's the one guy he has like kind of running PR for both the Pete Gioli or
Pete Gwelly.
Gwelly. Maybe he sits side by side and let him kind of handle the brunt of it. You know what I mean? Maybe him walk him through how to answer.
I think Pete Gwelly and everyone involved knows that, like you said, he's going to put his foot in his mouth. He, at this point in his life, doesn't articulate his words the best. And I think that if he did a press conference, that it probably wouldn't go well.
Or at least give a statement. You know what I mean? You don't have to face the media, but make a statement. Get in front of get in your desk with your cool background and have somebody film a statement. You know, tell the media, these are our concerns. This is what we want to know. And then you answer it in your own statement without having to face the grueling questions. And you can articulate your thoughts and not feel pressure.
The best way would be to sit up there with Kevin Adams and Pete Gwelly and answer questions collectively as a team. Like he do his best to answer the questions that he could without causing any harm, while having the de facto leader of the organization now in Kevin Adams, and also the leader of the business side of things in Pete Gwelly, answer the questions that he can't. Yeah, that would be great. But guess what? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. From John, what would the Sabres be worth on the market? They're a $1 billion franchise. I can't remember what the Senators sold for, but they're obviously worth more than being a Canadian team.
They usually release these. 1 second.
The
Sabres, the Buffalo Sabres is currently valued at $1.1 billion.
Yeah, right around $1 billion. Yeah,
ranks 30th out of 32 National Hockey League teams.
But you want to know what though? They'd probably sell, given how much work needs to be put into the arena, and obviously the state of the franchise in terms of 14-year playoff drought. They might not even sell for that much. I don't know.
Represented a 68% increase over the previous year when the franchise was valued at $750 million. They went up $250 million in a year.
Oh man. Oh God.
What did Terry Pegula purchase the Sabres for? What did Terry Pegula pay for the Sabres? He paid $189 million.
Yep.
He has, to a factor of 10, multi-factored his investment.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much money he's losing per year.
There's a chance he makes $1 billion on this team.
Huh?
There's a chance he makes $1 billion on this team.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to think about it, man. We'll talk more about it tomorrow with Mike.
If he sold the team for $1.2 billion, he would have his investment into the team garnered $1 billion, and that would also of course pay for the overages on the new Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, that's why I think he needs to sell a minority stake in the Bills. Bills and the Sabres, like he did with the Bills. He said, what would he sell? 20% stake in the team?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, and I don't know how much that was worth, or how much he made off that. I know it didn't cover the overages of the cost of the stadium, but we are going to have Mike Harrington from the Buffalo News on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Should be a good time. It always is with Mike. This is definitely a lot of cool stuff that we could ask him. He's very, he's very intelligent, I guess you could say, when it comes to situations like this, given his experience and his time covering the Sabres. So we'll see. I don't know. But 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we're going to have him on. Excited to have Mike. And any final thoughts before we get out of here, Earls?
Yeah, I mean, the game was the game. Shout out Anthony Stolarz behind me, the brick wall. 9 straight periods, 3 straight games of 3 different teams shutting out the Sabres. I mean, it's interesting because the team's issue this season hasn't been goal scoring. And
no,
in a game where you didn't necessarily want them to win, but it would have been nice against the Leafs, who just clinched the Atlantic Division as well, to add insult to injury. A few goals would have been nice, especially for our boy Victor Mauder in the building. Would have been nice to score one for him. But yeah, it is what it is. Fan appreciation night on Thursday. Should be a raucous atmosphere. I expect to see a lot of palm trees. And yeah, let's get into the off season.
Yep, agreed. Just please remember it's been brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at 6 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer and let them know Two Goalies when Mike sent you. If you have enjoyed our content, if you're not following us already on Twitter, you can find myself right there at Duane S39. Find my co-host Connor Hurley at CHurls13. You can find our podcast at Two Goalies One Mike. Audio only. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and most importantly, YouTube. I see a lot of you are currently watching us on YouTube right now. Please make sure you like this video right now. Do it right this second. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we go live. Greatly appreciated. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night. As always, for the second last time this season, go Sabres.